today I will be filing the Georgia's Common Sense Lawful Carry Act. In the weeks leading up to today, many news stories have run in the papers and broadcast on television. Some of the reports have made assumptions based on no hard, factual information other than me saying that the law needs to be clarified. Viewers have committed on these stories in support of clarification of the law. In addition to these recent comments from Georgians, the Firearms Study Committee, which I chaired in 2008, compiled many more opinions from all the slides on the issue. I'm going to take you through the bill, the reasons it was proposed, and how we got to this point. I have a lot of information, so I ask that you please hold your questions until the end, and I think it's very important that we go through the details so that you and the public have a full understanding of what it is that we're trying to accomplish. I appreciate those of you that will stay until the end. My goal with this legislation is to simply make the law clear for law enforcement and for those who lawfully carry a weapon. It's not about the expansion of carry areas. My bill is about the more than 300,000 current lawfully carrying Georgians who wish to understand and to follow the law. My bill is about clarifying the law so that law enforcement officials know how to apply it and are able to successfully maintain public safety while respecting on personal rights. This legislation has been in work for quite a while. We started about a year and a half ago with a study committee which was formed due to the confusion of the current Georgia lawful carry bill, and the purposes of this was to work out the kinks. As most of you know, I encourage and promote an open process on the bills that I carry. I held a series of study committee meetings and encouraged constituents and groups from all over Georgia to send me emails and to call on me regarding their concerns. It took some time, but I went through all of the suggestions and concerns. I do not believe in wasting the people's time or money. That's why we're here, and that's why we have this piece of legislation. What we have is a bill now that will help give Georgia a law that just makes common sense. Laws should be easy to follow, simple to enforce, and always balance public safety and private rights. Georgia's current firearms law does not fit into this standard of sound public policy. That's why I have filed the Georgia Common Sense Lawful Carry Act. This bill achieves sound public policy by, number one, it will clearly define lawful carry privileges for those who choose to exercise this right. It also will enact a streamlined process for licensing and regulation. It also strengthens the rights for personal property owners. Maintaining strong consistencies for K through 12 schools is absolutely important, and also for school functions. We also will maintain consistencies for government agency offices. This also will increase safety for all Georgians. This bill completely removes confusing language and replaces it with clear guidelines for law enforcement, private property owners, weapons license holders. This is one of the most confusing laws in current Georgia code. I find attorneys that can't explain it, judges that can't explain it, legislators that can't explain it, and law enforcement officers that can't explain it. It is also difficult to prosecute and determine appropriate sentences. This bill will clearly identify that real property owners will determine if lawfully carried weapons are permitted on their land. I believe that no government should infringe on private property rights. This includes churches, businesses, restaurants, bars, and homes. In this legislation, we identify some public areas that you cannot carry a firearm. They will be government agency offices, courtrooms, jails or prisons, any public or private K through 12 school, and any dormitory or residential housing on the campus of a public college, university, or institution of post-secondary education. Before any Georgian can lawfully carry a weapon, that individual must undergo a thorough criminal history and background check. Under federal law, no one under the age of 21 can carry a firearm, nor are they eligible for a weapons license. So what we're doing in this legislation is to centralize the licensing process to be under the Secretary of State. This bill will centralize all the licensing under the guidance of the Secretary of State's office, and will achieve a more accurate database for background checks and monitoring violations. Revocation will be more efficient through a centralized licensing body. Each county will have the same standards, and each lawful citizen can expect the same process. Separate county systems will now be interconnected for better communications. More effective to monitor one system rather than 159. Under the Secretary of State, crimes that are appropriate for you to have your license revocated will be easier to track down. If a person already owns a license, it will be revoked much easier through the centralized governing body. Georgians convicted of certain crimes may regain their rights to carry after several years of being free of any conviction. For schools and government agency offices, we maintain the same consistencies we have now. There will still be no weapons permitted inside K-12 schools or inside government agency offices. We retain the same consistencies for K-12 schools and school functions. We do have a parking lot exception, though. Weapons will be able to be kept in a locked compartment in or on a vehicle in a parking lot of a K-12 school. This affords license holders the same rights that teachers currently have. So, what about universities? It's the question that you all want to have answered. But before I do, let me clear up a few misconceived notions that have been presented to constituents in some news reports. First, let me reiterate that under federal law, no one under the age of 21 can carry a firearm. They cannot carry a firearm, nor are they eligible for a weapons license. This eliminates approximately 80% of the college and university students from being able to lawfully carry a firearm. Stated another way, not everyone's, quote, daughter will be able to pack her Princess 22 in a book bag for a walk across campus, end quote. Also, quote, drunk, emotionally unstable college kids with guns in dormitories or frat parties, end quote. These people are not eligible to obtain a lawful carry license, and they are certainly not allowed to carry a weapon. That's against federal law. These sorts of irresponsible statements perpetuate misconceived hysteria by the public. My bill deals with clarifying. My bill deals with lawfully carrying adults and affording them the right to carry in certain areas so long as they follow the law. Those age 21 and over who have obtained a lawful carry license cannot carry in a dormitory or in a residential housing on the campus of a public college, university, or institution of post-secondary education. Under this bill, lawfully carrying adults may carry weapons onto campus, in classrooms, and at college functions. And I ask each of you to do your duty to go look at the other states that allow the very similar thing that we're trying to do here with universities here. With regard to abuses, violations, and random acts of violence, let me be clear about these. They will not be tolerated. Lawfully carrying citizens are extremely responsible gun owners. They support strict penalties for violators. They are more concerned for and are aware of public safety concerns and are not violent offenders. Abuse of this right will not be tolerated. The law must be fair to law-abiding citizens and ensure that any infractions and prohibitions are reported correctly, effectively, and efficiently. The proposed legislation still has the same restrictions for those convicted of a felony, but allows for certain misdemeanors to also prevent individuals from lawfully carrying. We've expanded those crimes by which a person would become ineligible for a license to carry a firearm. In addition to what federal law and state law said, we have added crimes to the list of qualifying disbehavior. I understand the concerns of public safety, but let's not create a problem that does not exist. More firearm restrictions on lawfully carrying citizens will not stop random acts of violence. More than 300,000 Georgians are lawfully carrying their firearms that are not and have not committed any violent acts. They carry into banks, they carry into stores, they carry into malls, and they carry into Walmart. Licensing Georgians to carry a weapon does not permit them to commit aggressive, violent acts.